Good morning, everyone. Our next speaker, Dr. Narendra Bhojak sir, is with us. And I hand over the session to him, ma'am, and Nayan sir. Please, him, ma'am, and Nayan sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. Namaskar, sir.
Namaste.
A very good morning, one and all. This is Dr. Hem Ahuja from Department of Management Studies, University College of Engineering and Technology, Bikaner. Now, I would like to introduce our expert and today's session's expert, Dr. Narendra Bhojak, sir, who is Associate Professor from Government Dungar College, Bikaner, and Head of Green Chemistry Research Center. Let me introduce more about sir and tell you about sir's vast experience in the field of chemistry and research. Sir has more than 24 years experience in research and academics. He has guided 16 students for PhD and 26 students for MPhil. He has also been part of BOS Maharaja Ganga Singh University.
Hello.
Sir has also organized many national and international conferences in the field of green chemistry. And research area of sir is green chemistry, food and drug analysis, and bio-inorganic chemistry. He has got many awards and recognitions in his field. And today we have the opportunity to share his knowledge and experience with all of us. And the title of today's lecture is Green Audit and Green Campus. That is of our. Hand over the mic to you, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Hem Ahuja. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
PPTs are visible?
Yes, sir. Sir, can you?
I'm going to make it at full screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It's visible now, sir.
Okay, fine. So I hope and wish that if will be there some invisibility or some technical problem, you will inform me. And
Yes,
with
of
these
course.
words, I would like to start. Before I actually start this topic of today's presentation, Green Audit and Green Campus Need of the Hour, I would like to convey my best wishes in regards to Dr. Anu Sharma and her team, as well as Vice Chancellor of Bikaner Technical University and all associated persons of CET Bikaner. When Dr. Anu Sharma contacted us, actually she is in all the way contact with us, and she is one of the active member of GCRC Bikaner. So in this regard, we thought that instead of going for the purely scientific deliberation, which I used to discuss during my presentations, we should concentrate on a few different aspects which we have developed in recent past. Recent past means last 5 to 10 years. And deliberations of green chemistry and green chemical technology, particularly for the institutional development, institutional need, and societal part. This is one of the prominent aspect of green audit and green campus. Although I'll be discussing more on the chemical technology, but overall it is related with the green campus and green auditing. So few points which I'll be sharing with you, you may imply in your institution. If these are not being already implied, this is the purpose of green audit and green campus in terms of green chemical technology. The photographs which are being shown here are from the smart science laboratories based on the augmented and virtual reality based on Oculus Rift, established at Government Dungar College Bikaner in 2000, started in 2018 and developed and established in 2019. So with respect to green auditing, we will also be showing you few experiments which are being performed here. And we will also be discussing how to establish such type of laboratories at any institution. And this is one of the advantage of this corona pandemic, but we have started it before the corona lockdown period. So for audience purpose, I have divided this presentation into three portions. First of all, we'll be taking few problems and thoughts for 10 to 15 minutes. Then most of the times I'll be emphasizing on the green audit and green campus and research work which is being carried out by us. And finally, in few 5-10 minutes, I would like to discuss the contributions of GCRC made here and after in other places. So with these words, when I start, so I will have to discuss because I'll be talking on the green auditing also. So what is the background and what are the primables for this? So it's very interesting to know that it looks that green auditing is coming from the Western world or so, but actually it has been started first of all, at least in academic institution in India. And if you go in the ancient Indian system, this is the part of daily routine. Only the name, flavor, and clever had been changed, but actually it's very ancient concept in every terms, and it is also used for the EPA governance nowadays. So as far as India is concerned, now it has become the first in the world to make environmental audit compulsory. But for our purpose, when we are talking in terms of institutional part, now this is the necessary credit requirement. Not only the credit requirement, but it also reflects on several other aspects. Those whose institutions has gone for the next cycle 1 to cycle 3, 4, whatever is this, they must be knowing that in recent system, for all institutions, including the AICT institution, UGC, medical, and other nursing institution, NEC is very prestigious and important as well as essential. But there are 7 criteria. Out of these 7 criteria, when we are going for the 7th, particularly for the 7.18 or so, the green auditing is essential component, means that you will have to go for this. And by using these, we have also got very good results. And in the 3rd consecutive cycle, our institution was awarded A grade by NEC. And this there was one of the major role of this aspects of green auditing, in addition to several other factors. As I said, that there were 7 criteria. Out of 7 criteria, this is one of the essential parameter. So with this preamble, if I come for the purpose of green auditing and green campus, then it's merely not the development of the society, development of the chemical technology, development of the institute, but its scenario is very broad. And at present, we are, if I ask you to write around 10 challenges or 5 to 10 challenges, I hope and wish that this list will be coming at least 3 or 4 times in your designing also, because climate change, global warming, energy, health, these are very important. And waste management, pollution management, waste also include the e-waste management, then dwelling resources, water, biodiversity, poetry, ozone holes are very important. But when we are also in the process of developing our education system, the last one, that is the human values, thinking process, is equally important, and that should be the part of the development or institutional distinctiveness. So when we are going after the challenges, what are the basic solutions for this? The solutions are more important as far as green chemistry is concerned. When we are saying that we are talking about the green chemistry, then there are several definitions of green chemistry, but one is very important, that, and that also makes the difference in between the environmental scientists and green chemists. Green chemists also discuss the environmental challenges, environmental problems, environmental issues, but they are taking only those with the first and foremost priority, for which they are having some potential solution. So when we are talking about the green chemistry or green chemical engineering, we are having some substantial solutions for those challenges or those things. So with this, in this regard, when we'll be discussing, I would like to share few things with you that just think for these things. That means air, water, food, and energy. Your almost all problems would be related with these things. And how these problems are related and what are the solutions for this. This is very important to discuss. When what are the solutions for this? Solutions are more important to be discussed when we are talking about it. This is one quotation. Business is not for money, it's for solving the problem. It has been given by the Muhammad Yunus. I just like to tell you, or rather, should I ask you, who is this Muhammad Yunus? If you are knowing this, it's very interesting that he's a Nobel laureate in 2008 in peace, basically social entrepreneur from Bangladeshi banker economics. And he was talking about the solutions and problem solution, etc., related with the Grameen Bank, microedit, microfinance. And then there was also the designing of chemical economics. So in this context, I would like to discuss some aspects of Green Campus because when NEC has designed the green auditing part, they were also having in the mind that it should be related with the Green Campus. So first of all, I'll be taking some points related with the Green Campus or where our institute as a professor, associate professor, assistant professor, dean, registrar, or vice chancellor, we should consider these 20 points for the development of the Green Campus because green, like the green chemistry, Green Campus is not only related with the plantation, but there are several other aspects also like the green chemistry is having 12 principles, including the sustainable development and non-hazardous technological development related with the minimization of atom economy. So I have written first of all this third one, and then I'll be discussing others. So when you are designing your green campus, there are 20 points, out of which one is the rainwater harvesting. Then terrace forming. Interesting is that terrace forming is not only important for your institutional part, but it can also be developed at your house. Because now in the lockdown period, pandemic period, we also have learned about the importance of oxygen. And oxygen cylinders are, I would not say, but sometimes becomes toxic also because oxygen is also toxic. It's very interesting that after a particular limit. So if we take the natural oxygen from the terrace forming in our institution as well as our houses, it becomes very important. But I have emphasized on the third point on which we'll be discussing later on in this presentation. Then we should have the zero liquid discharge, particularly when we are having the engineering institutions and medical institution. We should consider the waste as the wealth resource, and then we should have the zero liquid discharge because that is more dangerous. That is also related with the point number 3, which I'll be discussing in this particular presentation. Then there must be proper fire and safety equipment disaster plans. I don't know from which background and from which part of this country you are here, but you should be knowing that in every district there is a disaster plan. Like in Bikaner, there is also a manual for the disaster plan, and our institution, particularly the geography persons from our institution, were equally involved in the manufacturing of or preparation of this master disaster plan for that particular district. So as a constituent of Green Campus, you can also plan for the disaster systems in your region or in your district, because a district should have a proper disaster plan. Then this is the 8th point, wealth from waste. I'll be discussing on this. 9th is green curricular. Most of the institutions has developed this curriculum aspect. Our institution, we have taken the green chemistry as the course of undergraduate studies as well as postgraduate study, and research was being performed here in last 15 or 20 years. Environmental education is also important, but there should be a difference, and understandable difference in between simple environmental science and the green chemical technology. Then this is very important, and those are working in the engineering institutions, they are well aware of this. But you know that the renewable sources and the secondary sources of electricity are very important, and in the NEC energy calculations, this provides a great deal of data as well as satisfaction. Then this is also the part of the environmental self-auditing. Vermicomposite or biogas plants, if you develop at your institution, this also provides the aspects of green campus. And this is very recent, as I was talking initially about the air pollution. In those institutes which are in the area of higher air pollution zone, they must think to design and start DG set air pollution at a particular height in their institution, so that they can not only monitor and specify air quality parameters in and around their institution, but they can also provide some consultancy to their nearby institutions and nearby industries too, or nearby society, at least they can provide from any place. Then noise level as per CPGC or this institutional systems were drawn by the students itself. Then this is also very important for the engineering aspect. Those are from the civil engineering side. They must be knowing the construction or architectural part related with the pentagonal system, and the chemistry person must be knowing the difference in between the stability and energy structures of cyclopentane and cyclohexane. This is what can be related, but this is very important when we are thinking about the green building concept. And 20th is such a useful thing and very important thing and very easy to perform thing. If you have not done at your institution, I request that you can start it even by tomorrow, and within 1 week or 15 days you can complete it. You can involve your students here who can develop a report on the flora in your institution, fauna in your institution, and chemicals which are being used as well as which are being disposed in terms of the experimental part or in the dustbin also. And that ground will be very helpful, not only for the development or performing the task of the green auditing, but it is very important for the establishment of the green campus. So these are the broad points, 20 points, where solutions are concerned. Then first thing is the education, that is information, and then learning, that is the designing of experiment, and then practicing, that is the confirmation or repetitive experiment, that is basically the science and technology. So after this, just a brief introduction, because I hope and wish that it should not be monotonous. So I thought that I should show you some, or I should put at least some questions in front of you. Those are knowing the answers, they can write in the chat box, and other can think for it. What do you think by this photograph? You can write in the chat box that what do you think? Because this is a very thin zoom photograph. And this is the same which has been taken after that, this one. So I don't know, I'll check after a minute or so how many you have written the answer. So the answer was coming from here. This is the perforated photograph of this. Again, now if I ask you, can you imagine what photograph is this? Then I think in a better way you will be able to write in the chat box as the correct answer, because you will immediately relate with the previous slide, and then you will be able to find that I have taken the photograph from the source, and this is related with the plastic pollution in the sea system, sea water system, and such kind of creativity are coming from our social science friends who are developing their photography skill or their thinking skill. This is why thinking is very important, because we all are knowing that our seashores have become the dumping ground or dustbins, not only for the plastic waste, but also nowadays for the e-waste. So these photographs are just indicating. And again, if I show you what are the major problems related with these photographs, though I think you can think and answer. But this is important. Here, I would definitely like to ask you that can you please write in the chat box which air is most polluted among these four? So I will be checking if someone has written the answer. So far, no one has written the answer. So I'll come to the answer. I would like to ask again which air is most polluted? That is at the Mount Everest, or this is ITO of the Delhi, and this is the industry area at the Delhi Mathura highway, and this is our kitchen. So if someone has written, then again I can check. Yes, name is not coming here, but Dr. Hem Ahuja has written industrial area, Dr. Santosh has written industry, and industrial area has been written by several, but some Chipuri Sandhya Rani at the rate of gmail.com. They have written the and few other have written the Mathura area or so. So oven is the correct answer. I am coming for this part. See that this is not the oven, this is our kitchen. And it's not due to the oven, it's because of our cylinders and our kitchen. So probably this is the correct answer. And interesting is that this area of our air quality is much more dangerous than this, because you all are knowing that when we are burning our cylinder, the temperature may go above 800 degrees Celsius, and at that time, some part of the nitrogen can combine with the oxygen and converts into the NOx. If you are not using the proper chimneys in our kitchen, then NOx is very dangerous, and it is not only the dangerous, but it is hazardous because it's mutating also. So this is just related with the information. Now, just to make it more interesting, rather should I say entertaining, I would, because now you are having some pre-justically slides in the previous 5 minutes or so, I would like to ask which is most hazardous. And I would request to all audience, if you are knowing the answer, then also, if you are not knowing the answer, even then also try to answer in the chat box. If you are not knowing, then just guess it, because we all are the teachers, so there is no harm to guess the things, and we will be discussing all the way. There are the few hazardous things. All are almost equally hazardous. But I would like to ask you which is most hazardous: plastic, wine, cigarette, drugs, or this gutka? Which is most hazardous? So again, I would like to check. Oh, great. Dr. P. Balasubramaniam has written the plastic, then Hem Ahuja, again, of course, plastic. Subedar Abid, plastic. Sandhya Rani, Gutka. D. Santosh has written all. All is correct, but I'm just asking which is most hazardous. All are equal, but there is some differentiation. So plastic, then Manorama Sharma has written this burning plastic. Plastic has also been written by Dr. Santosh, Dr. Retuka Raj, Vidhi Grover, Bipin Kumarji, and others. So anyway, I come to the answer of this, and it will be really interesting for you. And from here, we will start the technical lecture, technical part of this presentation. You know that the most hazardous and most uh, indecent part of this is the answer is cigarette. Yes, of course, I repeat, the answer is cigarette. You know that those are knowing about the cigarette, there is a difference in between the cigarette, good quality cigarette and bad quality cigarette as far as the market concerned. The good quality cigarette contains this part. This is known as filter, and they claim that this filter can absorb the nicotine vapors. So they are not allowing that nicotine vapors up to up to a particular extent, say for 50%, 70% or so. But you know that what happens to this particular cigarette when I will be telling you the hazards of plastic. This part of the cigarette is made up of plastic. How this plastic, if plastic is hazardous and someone has written the burning plastic, if someone is, everyone is saying burning plastic is more hazardous, then this plastic is here. You know that after smoking, this part is being burned, during the process of smoking is burned, and then it is just thrown out. And this area of seashore and nearby coastal area is dumping ground or dumping area of such kind of cigarettes. It is containing 95% cellulose acetate and 5% rayon, and that is known as filter. Filter is for our safety part, for and it's protecting from the nicotine vapors, but at the same time, it is releasing the BPA. In next slide, I will be discussing the aspect of this burning plastic. BPA is bisphenol A, and this is much more dangerous. After 2-3 slides, I'll be discussing, and again I am putting another question in front of you. It's just not the question answer session, it is just a discussion, and this answer I'll be taking in last. Answer of this question I'll be taking in last of the presentation. After 1 minute, I'll be coming again on the plastic part. So LR grade acid you are knowing. I'm just asking how much water is required for complete neutralization of 1 milliliter of this laboratory grade acid. I repeat my question. How much water is required for complete neutralization of 1 milliliter of this laboratory grade acid? Supposing that you will not add any neutralizing agent, and you will be considering that it is almost neutralization, not the 100%, but 99.99% neutralization. So how much this is required? Again, you can answer this in your chat box, and we will be discussing it in last. So when we are talking about the green chemistry, so our perception should be different. Perception should be sustainable. Perception should be green towards the nature. And if we do, we can measure all the things, because man is the measure of all the things. So definitely I'll be coming on that answer of plastic part. So green technology, when we are saying for the campus, for society, or for other parts, what are the significant parts of green technology? It should be energy efficient. It should be environmental friendly. It should be economically viable, ethical, and most important, safe and sustainable. So what are the solutions for this? We should develop wealth from waste. We should concentrate on the... Yes, any problem? Reduce, recycle, and reuse system. And we should use the renewable energy sources, sustainable lifestyle, and this is all to be related with the aspects of green campus. Then what do you mean by sustainable lifestyle? Because when I would be discussing the plastic part, it will be coming in a different way. Yes, any problem?
Nothing, sir.
Some voice was coming, so I thought that someone is having.
Okay, sir.
Someone would have not been asked. Would have not been asking. Okay, fine. I'll continue. So when we are saying the sustainable lifestyle, so carbon credits is very important. 350 clubs are there who can design it. Environmental education. jogging and treadmill, transportation, simplicity movement, and environmental self-edit. You can do your audit yourself. So, what are the innovations and what are the startups for this? How this green technology can be implied in our institution and can be transferred to the society. This is the laboratory of Michael Faraday. You must be knowing that Michael Faraday is well known for the electricity part, but basically he was doing a lot of research on chemistry, electrochemistry, and that was his laboratory. And he has developed more than 300 patents or like that. This is the laboratory from where I did my PhD. And this is our institutional laboratory where I am placed at this moment. So I just want to tell you, the person who is working in such condition is performing much more results than such places or such places. Because the ideas and thoughts are very important. I am showing you here two photographs. One is taken from the Pokhran blast area and other has been taken in front of the Konark Temple seashore, Bay of Bengal seashore. If you find that this is our collaborator from Bhabha Atomic Research Center and this is myself, but both are touching the same plant. This is known as Calotropis procera, Aak or Akda. If you find to visit from Bikaner to Jaisalmer or even Jaipur to Jaisalmer, you will find at both the sides of roads, you will be observing this Calotropis procera, Aak or Akda at both the sides. And as you will be traveling towards the desert, the size of this shrub will increase. And here you can find the size of this shrub, the same Calotropis procera is very less. Our interest was to do this project only, but later on we realized that the Calotropis procera, which is the desert plant, abundantly and available also at the wasteland area of desert, is also there at seashore. What kind of relations are there? Although my interest was only to find out the tensile strength of this material to develop something else, which I'll be discussing. But at the same time, this is also found at the hilly regions of Rajasthan, particularly in the Udaipur zone. The same Calotropis procera, Aak or Akda is found because it's having a different kinds of tensile strength. At the same time, when I'm finding some ideas from the Indian system, Indian ancient system, we can find some parts from the ancient system Kolayat. I'm skipping it because of time limitation. I'm just coming on this because that will take more than that. So, come to this. When I stopped that question there, we were talking about the hazards of plastics. We all are well aware with the hazards of plastic, and we are also well aware with the need of plastic. Now, if I ask you very specifically, what are the major hazards of plastic? What are the major hazards of plastic? And if you are from the management side or from the researcher or student of management, then you will say that hazards of plastics are related with is garbage management. If we could able to perform the garbage management, then the plastics hazards can be minimized. But at the same time, if you are from the biology background or chemistry background, then you will say that that is right. Plastic is a problem for the garbage point of view, but its biodegradability is the major problem. Since it is non-biodegradable, so it is the major problem. So for the social scientists or for the management persons, the garbage management is the problem. For the biologist, the problem is basically is biodegradability. But if I ask you, because you are chemists, so if I ask you from your point of view, what is the basic problem related with the plastic, then you will think for its chemical structure and its manufacturing process. Then you will find that in the manufacturing of plastic, there is the involvement of plasticizers and bisphenol A is the major plasticizer which is being used here. I would request you to kindly concentrate on this slide also, which is showing the manufacturing of bisphenol A. And this bisphenol A is very hazardous and found in almost all kinds of plastics. It is endocrine disruptor, is having neurological issues, is topogenic system, it declines the thyroid functioning, aggregates the DNA methylation with breast cancer part, that is neuroblastoma. So this is so hazardous. And more interesting is that bisphenol A is more dangerous at elevated temperature. As I shown you this slide earlier, in our tiffin box or lunch boxes, our mothers are giving to our kids that at elevated temperature, if our temperature of the plastic bottle is above 55 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Celsius, this bisphenol A is coming out in this liquid in traces, but it is very hazardous. And this is why you must have noticed nowadays, particularly the plastic bottles of the kids or the tiffin boxes are coming as BPA free. On many plastic containers, you will find that BPA free plastic. So that was the major problem with the cigarette part, because bisphenol A during the smoking is coming in the form of vapors and entrusting in your buccal cavity and later on in the lungs. So that is creating different kinds of cancerous part, and this is why I answered it as the cigarette, because cigarette is having the hazards of nicotine plus that BPA, and the BPA is coming in the plastic. But now you say that we are having BPA free plastic. So is it legitimate? No. You can avoid the BPA, but you cannot avoid the plasticizers. Instead of BPA, the company or the plastic making part or plastic making unit will use either phthalates or PVC, dioxin or styrene. If you have taken tea in the good quality cups, particularly thermocol type or fine quality, good quality cups, then it is containing the polystyrene, this one, polystyrene. So this is very important to understand. What I can conclude here, when you were thinking for the plastic problem as a management student, you were correct and your emphasis was on the garbage management. But when you were thinking for the plastic problem as a biologist or chemical biologist, then the biodegradability was the major problem. But when you were thinking like pure chemist or chemical engineer, then the plasticizers came in light, and these hazardous plasticizers were very hazardous, and not only hazardous, but they are also creating other problems also. But now I am coming for the real problem. See, again I repeat, so far I have not discussed the real problem of the plastic materials. What is the real problem? Commonly used solvents in our industry, rather should I say in any industry, are known to you. Ethyl alcohol, acetone, ethyl acetate, petroleum ether, methanol, and you must be knowing that all these kinds of organic solvents, I am emphasizing the word organic, all these kinds of organic solvents are extremely hazardous, because nowadays the organic word is being used as misleading terminology. This organic word is giving unknowing guarantee of toxic free materials. Rather should we know that organic substances are how hazardous. So these solvents are frequently used, not only in the printing, plastic, fibers, paint industry, but extensively used in the solar LED panels as well as in the computer chip making processes. But this is one of the important slide which I would like to share with you. If you have gone through this slide, then you must be knowing the impact of this slide and impact of the knowledge transformation. But if you have not gone through this, then this will be a really interesting information for you. All industrial units, whether are in Bikaner or Mathura or somewhere else, they claim that they are not using the toxic chlorinated solvents. They are just using the alcoholic or acetonic solvents. They are not using the toxic chlorofluorocarbons or chlorinated solvents. Even in our laboratories, when we are using the alcohol, I must say that you must have listened something on sanitizers in this FDP, which is containing either isopropyl alcohol or alcohol. So we are using it frequently. Industrial units are also using it frequently. But what happens? Ultimately, when during the process of paint, plasticizer, plastic, fibers, pharmaceuticals, drugs, etc., there is some loss of this solvent. There is some loss of this solvent, which is acetonic or alcoholic, and it goes in the atmosphere with the clouding, and after clouding, when there is showering with water particles, some particles of alcohol or acetone are also coming here. And that alcohol or acetone goes in underground water or in the surface water. From there, ultimately it comes to the PWD water supply centers. Here at the PWD water supply centers, actual interesting part starts. You must be knowing that at almost all PWD water centers, they are supplying the chlorine. Why this chlorine? Because this chlorine is used as disinfectant and it is clearing the water from 99.9% bacteria. But you all are from those have studied, almost all must have studied chemistry in 12th class. Then they must be knowing about a famous reaction, haloform reaction. The acetone or alcohol which was there in the slight alkaline condition, when comes in contact of chlorine, first it converts into the monochloroacetone, dichloroacetone, trichloroacetone, and finally the chloroform. So that waterworks supply center water, which was containing annoyingly very little amount of acetonic or alcoholic solvent, has been converted into the chloroform, and that is being used by us in our drinking system. And I tell you that no water purifier even can detect this chloroform. Purification is different. Now I come back to this slide for a moment only. See this, when I was talking about the major problem for the chemist point of view, I emphasize on bisphenol A, but I also emphasize on this acetone. During the preparation of this plasticizer, this acetone is being used, and the industry claims that we are not using toxic chlorinated solvent, but they were using this acetone, and acetone is almost similar in characteristic with isopropyl alcohol and alcohol. All these three components gives haloform reaction and converts into the chloroform. So what kind of problems are there? This is what I have discussed in this 40 minutes or so. And you would be surprised that initially I said that green chemistry is providing the solution and it will not raise any problem until unless it will not be having the solution. So I have discussed so far only the problems and put it problems in front of you in vasted terms or exaggerated terms. But it's not the fact. Fact is that we will be touching only those aspects of green chemistry or problems where we will be having some potential solution. So we thought for this, rather should I say our group our research group thought for this, and we are working on these aspects quite a long time, maybe 15 years or so. And we have tried to find out some solutions for this. Rather, our group has find out some solutions for this. So the problem, now I concentrate again the problem, plastic problem from management side, garbage management can be done. Biodegradability can be brought, replaced with a jute fiber. Then chemical part, the BPA can be replaced by others, but the real problem is solvent. Whether you are using X or Y, even for the jute production, solvents are also required. So we thought to think and develop. Many other scientists have also thought and developed the technique of green extraction. Those are the students of chemistry. For them, I would like to discuss this for 5 minutes, the process of green extraction, how this can be done. And the interesting part is that it is not only providing the green extraction technology, but it is also useful for the nanoscale extraction. For this, there are 3 types of procedures. One is the use of surfactants or detergents. Second is the use of ionic liquids. And third is the use of microwave system or sonication systems. Here, I would like to discuss surfactants or detergent parts only. As a chemistry student, you must be knowing 3 types of surfactants are there: cationic, anionic, and neutral. But all of these are containing 2 parts. One is the hydrophobic, other is the hydrophilic. Hydrophobic is the tail, this one, and hydrophobic is the head, this one. Hydrophilic is the head, this one. Hydrophilic is having the attraction for the water part, and that way. And at the same time, if you think about mixing of oil and water, you must be knowing that oil and water do not mix under ordinary condition. Even if you perform the process of rigorous mechanical conditions, it can undergo for the formation of emulsion. But after few hours or minutes, it will again settle as lime. But if you add little amount of detergent or surfactant, then there is a process of micellization, particularly if the concentration is above CMC, above critical micelle concentration. Then this surfactant dissolve this oil in water and water in oil. And you know that in this condition, oil in water, there is the formation of such kind of micromolecular assemblies. There, the hydrophilic part is toward the bulk, that means toward the water, and hydrophobic part is encapsulating this oil, that is the hydrophobic attraction. Similarly, if it is water in oil, then hydrophobic part will be encapsulating this water, hydrophilic part inside this, and hydrophobic will be toward the bulk, that is toward the oil, and this is known as micelles and this is known as reverse micelles. So that is the fundamental chemistry. We thought and think to design different kinds of micelles, and you will be happy to know that there are several kinds of micelles, and we worked on the 30 kinds of micelles. And out of this, we could able to identify this rod-shaped micelle is very unique, because we were interested to use the Calotropis procera, ack or akra, desert plant, wasteland plant, extensively available in our region. So we were interested to make out the fiber from this. So we designed this rod-shaped micelles and we put it there, so the extraction rods could able to compete it. This I'll show you after 1 or 2 minutes, but see that what exactly the process of micellization. Micellization not only increases the solubility and stability of the system, but a marked increase in the absorbance intensity is also observed. So this is giving unique feature. This is one of the very interesting compound extracted by us. And if the same extraction we perform in the acetone alcohol, extraction is there, but its absorbance intensity is nearby 0.1 or 0.15. But the same process, if performed with the Triton X100, its absorbance intensity is increased. So this is due to the absorbance Absorption of this 6-methoxy-784-trihydroxy isoflavone on the course of the micelles, and that increases its absorbent intensity, and in many cases it has also been observed to increase the fluorescence intensity, and that fluorescence intensity increases also lead for the not only for the better extraction procedures but also for the selective and nanoscale extraction. Like the difference in between the isomeric hydrogen position in between isoflavonoids and flavonoids. So if I want to extract at that particular isoflavonoid, this was isoflavonoid, so I will have to use a definite type of micelles, and for flavonoid other can be used. So we could able to develop a selective and sensitive method for the extraction of a particular nanoscale extraction of a particular isoflavonoid. So what is the basic difference in between normal and green method of extraction? Normal and green method of extraction. So normal method is using that alcohol or acetone. There are the different kinds of green surfactants, green solvents. And now what we did, we used that Calotropis procera, ARC or ACADA, and perform the extraction by using this type of green micellar systems, green surfactants. And you can find the results. This is the initial state, and this is after approximately 7 days. And there you can find the fiber is extracted. The complete delignification is performed because we want the cellulose fiber. As you can find in the cigarette smoking, that material cellulose acetate is used, so we could able to isolate only cellulose fiber from here. Here I can elaborate it. Here you can visualize that this is the process of extraction is going on, and here it is completely the process of delignification ended up, and that way we can extract the fiber. And now we have not used the acetone and ethyl alcohol, which are considered to be the potentially hazardous solvents. This part I can leave because this is a complete another 1 hour lecture, and that is because I want to discuss the green auditing. This is why I'm leaving it, but I can summarize it within one slide. First, we use the green technology, and we could able to get the fiber made, and then we combined it with the phenol formaldehyde resin or urea formaldehyde resin. You know that phenol formaldehyde resin is almost 100% non-biodegradable. So we incorporated some amount of that fiber extracted from this green system, and then we studied the various parameters on that composite, then green composite or biocomposite. We studied the portion of the plant. We studied the types of micellar system like Triton X100, HTAB, SDS, and we also calculated the observed the glass transition temperature as well as the enthalpy evolved there. But this was the most important study. In this, how much weight of that degradable fiber can be incorporated here? Initially, we could able to get only 2 to 4% results. But now we could able to get the 15% results with a greater value of thermal diffusibility as well as specific heat. And then we have also gone for the BSC trace, and you can find here there is a dip obtained in almost all thermograms, and that is due to the probably due to the cross-linking of the fibers themselves. This is chemical analysis I can leave. And till this point, we could able to get 15% biodegradable material. But thereafter, incidentally, by using the different kind of micellar system, we could able to get the nanofiber of that Calotropis procera, and that gave us very interesting results, and we could able to get 28% green plastic. Here I can show you, these are similar. One is having the 15% composite, other is having 28% composite with a equal tensile strength. Means that plastic nowadays, although these results are of 2.5, 3 years before, and in recent period we have extended it to 34 to 35%, and if we could able to get up to 50%, then it is easily accepted by almost all industries with a similar tensile strength. So anyhow, at present we are having reported up to 28% or maximum by 34% biodegradability. So that is with respect to the management problem, with respect to the biodegradability problem, with respect to the plasticizer, BPA problem, and more importantly, the solvent which are used here are green solvents. We have also gone for the SAM and TAM studies of these fibers. Then we also went for the different kinds of plastics. Here you can find there is a different kind of variation. Then we also worked on the micellar mechanisms, the mechanism of delignification and so on. This is the size, and this is finally the part which we could be able to get here. This is the effect which I wanted to show you, and from here we could be able to develop the institutional part of the green auditing. I'm taking just 30-second. Yes. So when we are developing this process, which I have shown you within 20 minutes or 15 minutes, it requires several steps. And it is also very important for the institutional aspects of the green auditing. This is one of the patent filed by us, green microwave biochemical reactor, and that was the team working in 2009 for this patent part. Because when you are going for the green audit part, you should know these aspects also. Now I'm coming to the green auditing part. Okay. So when we say we want to go for the green auditing, so what is exactly the green auditing? In next 10 minutes or so, I would like to tell you something about this so you can develop at your institute also. Green audit is a tool of management that you can read from here. The audit stages are different, and that is very important for the institutional part. And under criteria 7, it is one of the major requirements. I would like to discuss this benefits of the green auditing. It is very important that when we are saying it is for the institutional part, so it increases or enhances the institutional profile. It develops the social and environmental awareness for the student also, and it is providing cost saving through reduction in resources usage through benchmark. Like if you are replacing renewable sources of energy, you can imagine how much saving you have done at your institution. Like if I ask you about our institution, so there was electricity bill of around 1,20,000 or so. Now it has remarkably decreased by using around 94 kilowatt solar system, and so on. Many other things are there. So now question arises: how should I do green audit at my institution? So there are 3 steps. Step number 1, pre-audit. In pre-audit, number 1, plan the audit. Number 2, select the audit team. It's very important. In the audit team, any person from chemistry or chemical engineering can lead it, because many things are there. And then there must be at least one person from physics, electronics or electrical, and one from the biology, and 2 should be taken from humanities and management. Management person is very useful because they can guide us about the economical calculations or auditing part, and similarly humanities person, if he's from writing like English or other, so report writing or other things can be easier. Or although I should emphasize that anyone can do, there is no thumb rule for this. Then schedule the audit facility. Means how many places are there in your institution where you will have to go, and then background information visit on the site, because you will have to go on site. So first take the background from there. So step second is during audit process on site, understand the scope of audit. Means like you have gone in the chemical engineering department, or you have gone in the electrical engineering department, or in physics department. So you should know that in physics there will be definitely certain instruments or certain things which are related with the e-waste. In chemistry, e-waste will be lesser, but liquid discharge will be much greater than any other system. So analyze the strength and weakness of the internal controls. That should be known to us. Then conduct the audit. Means you will be doing first of all energy audit, then you will be doing the water audit, air audit, e-waste audit, carbon credit, and then footfall. Footfall means how many students or how many total persons are coming at your institution, how much carbon dioxide is generated, that is a part of carbon credit. And then finally you can also design some atom economy, if although it is not required, but it will give you another idea. And then total way you can calculate how much carbon dioxide will be released by you and how much oxygen is being produced by you at institution. Similarly, how much waste is generated, how much waste is utilized. Then report preparation. Green audit is not looks very simple, but you can do it, and it takes time. Produce a draft first of all, perform the calculation data, and then also take some photographs or video if possible, and then final report with observation and inferences with accuracy is to be submitted. And finally, the last step is very important, because the purpose of this is very important. Plan 1 ATR, action taken report, is very important part of the green audit. Write in ATR, so your recommendation, what ATR you are going to take in the next year, so that next year you can judge from there. When we are talking about our campus, so in our campus, we should emphasize on these 5 points minimum: electricity, water, air, footfall, again related with the air, waste management all the way, all kinds of wastes, and then innovation. What kind of innovations have been done by you? Like one innovation, one or two innovations, as I told you that I'll be discussing as the GCRC contribution. So I'll be telling you innovations done at our institution. First is that we not only inaugurated YouTube channel of Government Dugar College Bikaner. Can you imagine? It was in October 2018, and at the same time we organized first e-symposium. And I'm happy that Dr. Anu Sharma, who is the coordinator of this FDP, was also the organizing team and part of organizing team of that. And you know that at that time webinars, e-symposium were very scarce, very less, and fortunately that was the first e-symposium. You can find here the speaker from 7 different countries were there, and this is George Keclevich from Hungary delivered one invited talk, and he is one of the organizing secretary, Dr. S.K. Verma. In this photograph, you can see all the team. These are the organizing secretaries, Dr. Rajaram, Dr. S.N. Jatolia, Dr. Umar Rathod, and other persons are also there. So I'm just telling that it was before pandemic period, because e-symposium are to be conducted. But we initiated in 2014 when in one of the, when we participated first time in virtual conferences. I just like to tell you, at that time, it was very difficult to provide a presentation. See, this is the time slot of the audio and time slot of the video. So we will have to prepare separately, and then we will have to merge. Not like today, we are just taking this. But you know that all this I have not shown you deliberately. It was just to tell you this one. After the first e-symposium conducted by us, we planned for the Smart Science Lab in 2018. And 2019, we could able to complete it. And today we are having working Smart Science Laboratory with audio, augmented reality experiment and virtual reality experiment. If you come to Dover College, kindly visit it. So what happens in this? First of all, we will have to create a virtual atmosphere like this fellow is creating. So at this place, virtual atmosphere will be there and you will be observing the virtual site and you can change your laboratory. Here you can find virtually this student is performing experiment in this virtual area. So it is not connected here and others are watching. Those are not knowing the difference in between the augmented reality and virtual reality. Let I try to explain in the very simple words. When we are saying the virtual reality, it means we are in the newer field and we are not connected with the present atmosphere. And we are doing experiments there. Like this student is doing experiments virtually, so she is not connected with this world. All these are watching here, but she cannot watch this. But if we are having the augmented reality, this is the virtual reality, this is faculty training. We have given faculty training for all the subjects, chemistry, physics, geology, and botany. If your institution is interested for such type of trainings, you can also contact. And then what is the augmented reality? When augmented reality experiments are there, which is based on the Magic Leap, we are having 5 types of experiments, 5 types of instruments and 15 types of experiments. So in Magic Leap, the person will be in contact of this as well as in the virtual field. So conclusion is that virtual reality means it is different with the virtual experiments. Virtual experiments you are simply doing on the laptop or this mobile. But virtual reality, you are entering in that field. In augmented reality, you are also entering in that field, but you are also the part of, or you can visualize this the present system. And this was inaugurated by the Higher Education Minister, Honorable Shri Mohammed Singh Ji Bhati, and they have visited this place. And here you can find this is another prominent personality from Bikaner. He is Honorable Cabinet Minister Dr. B.D. Kallaji, who have been the student of Dover College also, and they were very happy that to know that such kind of experiments can be performed in Dover College because he has performed experiments in the normal laboratory, so they appreciated a lot. So what I mean to say that when I'm saying about the 2018's experience, now the coming time experiments or coming time presentations will be based on the Oculus Rift, based on the augmented reality, based on the virtual reality. In the next step, we are in the process of developing such design experiments of chemical structures and chemical visualization, which I can show you from here. However, if you want to go through any of the recorded experiments, we are having the 15 experiments. You can watch in our website. I would like to share it in the chat box, or I would share it with Dr. Anu Sharma. You can contact them. We are also having 3D printer there. You should know the difference of the 3D printer and normal printer. That 3D printer is also in the Smart Science Laboratory. And this is the material, because our interest in the material. Can you just write in the chat box which material is used for the 3D printer? It's very interesting and you can synthesize in your laboratory, but it's very expensive. It is PLA, polylactic acid. This is our laboratory of all, which I shown you in the first slide also. Now I'm coming to the last part of my presentation. I ask to all of you how much water is required for the complete neutralization of that water being thrown by us or our student in the sink without using any neutralizing agent? Initially, I asked this, and now I'm asking it again. If you can write in the chat box, it will be interactive, it will be very informative. Sandhya Rani ji has written 1 milliliter of water or 1 milliliter to 6 milliliter of water depending on the pH range of acid. About the pH range, I have already said that laboratory grade water. So you can answer. Other can also answer. It's very interesting. When you will be knowing the answer, you will be very happy. So I repeat the question. I would happy if you can answer any guess how much water required for the complete neutralization of 1 milliliter of laboratory grade acid thrown in the sink. This much, or this much. Keep in mind, no other neutralizing agent is added, only it should be neutralized from the water. So I know and understand that it's a long period. You have spent almost 1 hour with me. After 40 minutes, everyone like to shrink with the eyes also. So it's difficult to answer, but even then I would request all participants who are attending this interesting webinar, but definitely not to Dr. Gayatri Sharma ji, because she must be knowing the answer. Dr. Anu Sharma ji, who has been the part of this, she is knowing the answer. I don't mean to say that if you are knowing the answer, you cannot answer. You should answer, but these persons are already working on this. So, हाँ नमस्ते मैडम. So एक्चुअल में क्या है कि मुझे पानी पीना था तो मैंने ये क्वेश्चन दे दिया इसलिए. So it's a good answer. One has written, Dr. R.K. Rao, a bucket full of water. So Dr. Saab, Rao Saab, it's very interesting. Can any other write? Okay. So if you are not interested to write, need not to worry. We will answer it. See, it is very interesting. I have made 2 riders in the question. One is you will not use any other neutralizing agent, and other is you will be considering almost complete neutralization. With this, you just perform your calculations and you will get this answer. Approximately 20,000 liters. I repeat, if you are throwing 1 milliliter of water, or your students are throwing 1 milliliter of water in the sink without using any neutralizing agent, it will disturb the water table of the system, environment, or underground water up to the level of 20,000 liters. Now you can imagine how much crime is this. And it is by 1 milliliter of the acid without using neutralizing agent in one college or one institutional laboratory. The laboratories are more than thousands, and if we also include the schools, then this is in the range of 10,000. So how much water can be polluted, disturbed on this? So we thought and planned, and this idea came during the process of green auditing. And it's very simple idea. Anyone among can get it, or can come in the mind of anyone. So, but anyhow, it came in our mind, and we established first laboratory wastewater neutralization plant in our institution. It provides 2 things at the same time. One is that our green concern, our sustainable concern, our environmental concern towards the society, because we are saying that we are not providing our hazardous chemicals to the outside atmosphere. And at the same time, it gives a learning opportunity, which is more important. Learning opportunity and free of cost samples to our students who are performing their task. So what we do, we ask to our students when they are going to home around 4:45 or 5 o'clock, they just take one sample from here and calculate the pH of this sample and then perform the calculations depending on the acid used on that day or neutralization agent used on that day, how much neutralizing agent is to be required here, and we just place it here on this tank which is above the neutralization tank. And this is the team who designed this. How it was designed? First of all, it requires the 3D model of the laboratory to get the outcomes, and then the calculation part, and finally it performed the green auditing. And this is the 3D model designed by Mr. Abdul, Karishma, Himani, and few others are here, and this is you can visualize. Not only this, on this basis, we also thought to propagate it, and we designed one science movie on this laboratory wastewater neutralization plant, and it was awarded as special jury award and first prize in India International Science Film Festival 2019 November at Kolkata, Satyajit Ray Auditorium, Kolkata it was. And he is the director of this movie, Abdul, and she's assistant director, Karishma, getting their prize from the Honorable Minister on this aspect of laboratory wastewater. But at the same time, we also thought that this wastewater should be used to prepare the distilled water. So finally, we converted this into a distilled water unit. That was the first type of innovation. Second, we did in the category of waste to wealth program. That was done by the BIRC. What is that? Bikaner Interdisciplinary Research Consortium. I'll tell you later on. And we converted the plastic materials into various useful materials, including the bench and seats. I think you must have heard about the sanitizers. Our institute is also working on the Croton Bombay Palladiums. She is Dr. Seema Vyas who is working on this. And we prepared the green sanitizer. I'm skipping it because of time limitation. It is not containing alcohol. It is not containing isopropyl alcohol. So what it is containing? It's containing only water. So it's not hazardous. To summarize all these things, I would say that initially we were also interested to design all these experiments in Hindi medium, and he's one of my mentor, and we could able to publish one book, and it was released by John C. Warner. John C. Warner is the famous green chemist and green chemical technologist who has been once the advisor of scientific advisor at Washington DC, and now has developed his institute of Babcock Warner Institute of Green Chemistry, and he is the James Clark, editor of Green Chemistry Journal, very prestigious, and he is Salukhe, Professor Salukhe, at that time Vice Chancellor of Central University. This is our another collaborator with which we are working on the green extraction technology. We have designed and developed with curcumin extraction and calotropous extraction. Also, he is Dr. Naipen, who is the major, who was the major collaborator at that time. Similar initiative has been done in the Rajasthan College Education, where our institution has either participated or designed or have firmly worked on these. Annual auditing program, resource assistant for colleges with excellence, district resource assistant committee, interdisciplinary education association, community connect program, Gyan Ganga faculty development program, Gyan Doot online live teaching during vacations, and Gyan Sudha online teaching for competitive exams. The persons associated are our principal, no doubt, Dr. G.P. Singh sir, and then Commissioner College Education, Sandesh Nayak ji. Vinod Bhardwaj is nodal officer for this, and I am also working at the member state committee and in charge for GCRC this. The Commissionerate has developed the Gyan Ganga program, and we have designed and propagated it first of all in the Rajasthan state. Government Dogar College designed and delivered first Gyan Ganga program in September 2020. I'm just telling you that you can also participate in these and you can ask your students to participate. At present, this is going on, and this is for the mock test for assistant professor examination of RPSC, which is going to be held at the end of this month. And this Gyan Sudha is also being conducted on every Wednesday and Saturday for competitive exams. So finally, when we are talking about the green audit with respect to Green Campus, the future is based on the different manuals on which we are doing and consultancy. We are also providing consultancy, and that is because our government institution, so consultancy word is wrong word here, is collaboration, because it's not chargeable and it's 100% free of cost, and it is collaborative. So this is what I mean to say. And if you want any information, you can mail me on this, or you can ask to Dr. Anu Sharma to provide it. And this is the major forum where we are working, Bikaner Interdisciplinary Research Consortium, drbojak@readymail.com. You can get more information. Last but not least, I would like to convey my regards and thanks to my professors and mentors. Unfortunately, he has passed in this second corona wave, and I'm very thankful to Dr. B.C. Das, who is providing us opportunity to interact as well as sample identification, sample analysis, almost free of cost, and the students who are working on the aspects of green chemical technology, plastics. The work represented by me in this presentation is of Mr. Balwinder Singh, who has completed his PhD now, waiting for Viva. Due to this process of green auditing, our institution has got third cycle A grade, first in 2006, 2014, and then in 2021. These are the few citations developed and designed by us, published from our institution. And finally, thank you, all of you. I hope and wish Dr. Anu Sharma and all other organizing team will
Thank you, sir.
try to say. If time can permit, I would like to show you one movie of 5 minutes, four and a
Sure,
half
sir.
minutes, if it is
Sure,
possible.
sir. Sure.
Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. I'm trying it. I will have to find it on my computer. I'm getting
No
it.
problem, sir.
Okay, just 30 seconds or so.
Yes, of course, sir. We are waiting.
Okay. Actually, I wanted to show you the movie of Saviors of Water, but I would like to show you another movie that is important. See that if voice is coming or not, you just tell me. It's not started yet. I'll tell you. His voice is coming.
No, sir. Not started yet.
Okay. I'm just checking. Is it coming now?
Yes, sir. It is visible, but sound is not there, I think.
Voice is not there.
No, sir.
Okay, I am just trying to get voice. Just a minute.
Yes, sir. Sir, if you have VLC media player with you, you can open with that also.
Which one?
VLC media player if you have.
VLC, I have that. I
Okay,
am
sir. You
having the window media player. So won't it work in window media? Actually, it's being open, but
sometimes.
there is some problem in the voice. Voice, I think I will have to allow it, or you will have to
Yes,
allow
sir.
it. Just a
Sir,
minute.
we
Just a minute. Just a minute.
coming. Your voice is coming, so that video voice it can also come, sir.
To video voice, na, there is a problem. I will have to allow it.
इसमें वॉइस आ रही है सर, इसमें आ रही है आपकी?
Voice is coming now.
No, sir. Sir, I think you are on earphones, so voice is not coming through speakers.
Coming now.
Sir, please play it again so that we can see.
Is it coming now?
No, no, sir. No, sir. Now it is.
ये
Now it
WebEx
is
की
audible,
problem.
sir. Now it is audible.
इसमें आ ही नहीं रहा sound.
Is voice coming now?
Yes, sir. Now it is audible.
Okay.
Few point snacks in all over India. Virtually every Indian city has its own taste and flavor for kachori. And there are few famous and hygienic shops. But at the same time, plenty of manufacturers and particularly roadside shops, temporary and partial shops during festivals and religious occasions, knowing or unknowingly, they with the health and wealth of the people. Let us see the Kachori at Bikaner. This is beginning of the day, a very famous shop at the heart of Bikaner. You can see the general king. Forget about hygiene. During the preparation, first, heat tool is mixed with water. In water, this is the way it is at each shop. Not only the water, disgusting part is nearby area and container. The container. If you are feeling bad for it, then be whole. It's just the beginning. Now, see the feeling of masala. And, oh my god, the oil in which we fry by three types of chemical tests: iron value, the conification value, and RN value. More the frying in the same oil, more will be density. If day after first frying, the oil must be discarded and should not be used for edible. Here that bothers. If you are thinking not to eat snacks from such places and feeling unhealthy, please wait. The shop is just at a distance of 1 meter from railway track. People even can buy while traveling. More than 20 times a day, railway gate closes, creating a jam, which not only increases the air pollution level but dust and other particles remain in direct contact of oil and other ingredients. And it is not only at one place, you will find it all over the nation. Worried and feeling ugly, still more to come to make you horrified. Now, what will you do? Still, this story is not over finally. This makes your kachori incredible. Choice is yours.
Thank you very much. My intention was to show the cigarette and tar and rancidity of the oil which was there. Thank you very much to all of you. If you have question, query or doubts, I am happy to answer.
Participants, if you have any questions, you may type in chat box. I request again, if you have any doubts or if you want to ask something, you may type your questions in the chat box.
So I have a few or rather many comments, but nothing is related with the question.
Yes, sir. So I think if there will be any questions, we are sharing your email ID with all the participants. They can contact you afterwards, sir. So let me thank you on behalf of the FDP on green technology for state level developments. I really I'm paying my heartfelt thanks to sir who has spared time for us for sharing his views regarding green audit and green campus, the need of her. Sir, seriously, this is the most important issue in today's time because we have so many issues related to plastic and other burning problems in front of us, which are really affecting our environment. So you have explained in a very beautiful manner that whatever things we have around, we have to work for that. And we have to be aware about the environment as well as the society. And also, we should have the institutional development for such technologies, our campus also. For that, you have explained the concept of green audit and green campus. that we can develop at our own. We should have a proper team, and we should have actually the way and the mentor like you, so that we can inculcate such values in our coming generations for the sake of environment. So thank you so much, sir. You have beautifully explained your lecture, and you made it very interesting by showing the pictures as well as sharing videos with us. So I really thank you for sparing such a precious time of yours, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
One thing I would like to add here, if you want to do at CET, you can easily do it. Dr. Anu Sharma is already there, and she is the part of GCRC also. But I would like to name another person, two another person from your institution. You must be knowing. Dr. Govardhan Vyas is there. He is also doing it. But nowadays, once there was a faculty member, if you are knowing, Dr. Kanika Solanki. She is
Yes,
also
sir. She is
doing
in
very
DU.
excellent work in the field of chemical
Yes.
science, and also doing various aspects and consultancy work on green auditing. So you can also contact to Dr. Kanika, and she is marvelously performing this task. So you can easily develop the team. Thank you
Sure,
very
sir.
much giving me this opportunity. So may I leave now?
Sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thanks a
much,
lot,
sir.
sir. And good. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, participants, for your patient listening. Now, there will be the next session at 2:30 p.m. So you can join back again at 2:30. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you.